Revelation chapter 17. In this chapter, we see a great prostitute and a scarlet beast. This is an extended vision describing the fall of Babylon in this chapter and the next. The great prostitute and Babylon the Great, one commentator says they're the same thing. They both portray the beast's empire. Babylon's expensive clothing and jewelry symbolizes her wealth, and her name, the mother of prostitutes and of earth's abominations, represents the desire for sensual pleasure that characterizes this kingdom. Many waters symbolize the many peoples and nations that Babylon rules. The angel himself says that later on in the chapter. There's a beast portrayed here that was and is not and is to come. Remember, the beast had received a terrible wound, we saw in chapter 13, and yet come back to life again, apparently, and deceived many and got in worship. There is talk in this chapter about 7 heads and 7 hills on which the woman sits, and one commentator says the city of Rome rests on 7 mountains or 7 hills. In prophetic imagery, mountains symbolize the place of power, and the beast's 7 heads symbolize both mountains and kings. Another commentator says the 7 mountains and the 7 kings, the kings represent the 7 great world empires: Egypt, Assyria, Babylon, Medo-Persia, Greece, Rome, and that of the Antichrist. Compare that to Daniel's image in Daniel chapter 2. When it says 5 of them have fallen, one is, and then there's another. When John wrote, remember that the Egyptian, Assyrian, Babylonian, Medo-Persian, and Greek empires had gone out of existence, and Rome still existed. And the Antichrist empire had not yet come. When it does, it will be brief, and he will end in destruction. When it says that he's also part of the 8th, this commentator says the Antichrist kingdom is said to be both the 7th and 8th kingdoms because of his supposed demise and resurrection. He is the 7th king before and the 8th king after his resurrection, when he destroys the harlot's religious empire and demands exclusive worship of himself. In verse 16, it talks about those who will hate the harlot. After using the false religious system to unify the world kingdoms and gain control of it all, the Antichrist, with the help of his 10 sub-rulers, will turn against the system, plunder and destroy it, and seize all power and worship for himself. And we will see this go on again in the fall of Babylon the Great in chapter 18. Revelation chapter 17. One of the 7 angels who had the 7 bowls came and said to me, "Come, I will show you the punishment of the great prostitute who sits on many waters. With her the kings of the earth committed adultery, and the inhabitants of the earth were intoxicated with the wine of her adulteries." Then the angel carried me away in the spirit into a desert. There I saw a woman sitting on a scarlet beast that was covered with blasphemous names and had 7 heads and 10 horns. The woman was dressed in purple and scarlet and was glittering with gold, precious stones, and pearls. She held a golden cup in her hand, filled with abominable things and the filth of her adulteries. This title was written on her forehead: Mystery, Babylon the Great, the mother of prostitutes and of the abominations of the earth. I saw that the woman was drunk with the blood of the saints, the blood of those who bore testimony to Jesus. When I saw her, I was greatly astonished. Then the angel said to me, "Why are you astonished? I will explain to you the mystery of the woman and of the beast she rides, which has the 7 heads and 10 horns. The beast which you saw once was, now is not, and will come up out of the abyss and go to his destruction. The inhabitants of the earth, whose names have not been written in the book of life from the creation of the world, will be astonished when they see the beast, because he once was, now is not, and yet will come. This calls for a mind with wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 hills on which the woman sits. They are also 7 kings. 5 have fallen, 1 is, the other has not yet come. But when he does come, he must remain for a little while. The beast who once was and now is not is an 8th king. He belongs to the 7 and is going to his destruction. The 10 horns you saw are 10 kings who have not yet received a kingdom, but who for 1 hour will receive authority as kings along with the beast. They have one purpose, and will give their power and authority to the beast. They will make war against the Lamb, but the Lamb will overcome them, because he is Lord of lords and King of kings, and with him will be his called, chosen, and faithful followers. Then the angel said to me, "The waters you saw where the prostitute sits are peoples, multitudes, nations, and languages. The beast and the 10 horns you saw will hate the prostitute. They will bring her to ruin and leave her naked. They will eat her flesh and burn her with fire. For God has put it into their hearts to accomplish his purpose by agreeing to give the beast their power to rule, until God's words are fulfilled. The woman you saw is the great city that rules over the kings of the earth."